To understand how data fuels digital marketing and how data and advertising are connected, it's important to have a closer look at where the data comes from. How does data come about when you visit content online? Let's look at how interactions happen online. As an example, let's look at what happens when someone interacts with a publisher's website. Every publisher's website starts as a blank canvas made of code and stored on a web server. Think of your favorite news site, for instance. In your mind, strip away all of the content. The shell that's left is the blank canvas the website started with. To fill this blank canvas with content, the publisher uses a tool known as a content management system, or short, CMS. Publishers use their CMS to store, create, and manage content on their websites. So imagine your favorite news site, they use such a CMS. It's typically a system that makes it possible for many people to easily create and manage the content without needing to know how to code. Or, in other words, it's an easy system to write the news articles that you will see appear on the news site. The publisher will leave some space on the website for advertising. A separate server will place the ads. This server is referred to as the ad server. So note that two different systems handle the content and the ads. The ads come from advertisers. To get the right ad in front of the right people, the publisher sends a signal to connect with the advertiser's ad server and retrieve the creative for the ad that needs to be displayed. Again, when we think about our favorite news website, the people who are writing the articles that you see aren't deciding on the ads that you see on the site. The ads you get to see are coming in from the ad server. The publisher's website will connect to the ad server, and the ad server fills the advertising spaces. Now, let's look at what happens when someone accesses a website. As soon as the person's browser requests a web page from the publisher, some data about the person is sent to the publisher. That information is used to bring the right content to the person, but it's also sent to the ad server to make sure a relevant ad is displayed. So data is exchanged between the person and both the publisher and the advertiser's servers. The publisher and the advertiser both store data. Every interaction, like accessing a page, clicking on a link, clicking on an ad, or making a purchase, leaves a record. The publisher and the advertiser categorize and store some of that information to personalize the content and adapt the ads people see. So we now know that a lot of data is generated as people interact with online content. But what do we really mean when we talk about data? As you probably know, every website is made of code. That code is stored on a publisher's server. Every time you interact with a website, you tell its server which piece of the code to display. Every request you make for a piece of code or elements of the website leaves a record in the server. That record is referred to as the web server log. A web server log consists of strings of code like this one. This code may look foreign to us, but it's not too difficult to understand its components. First, you see a series of numbers. That's the person's IP address. It tells the server where to send the data. Next is a unique identifier. This is how the server recognizes who is asking for the information. This identifier is typically pulled from the person's browser and is usually a sequence of characters. Note that this is not personally identifiable information, also referred to as PII, so no names or physical addresses are stored here. Next, if the website requires the person to log in, there may be a username here. Next, there's a date and a timestamp of when the information was requested from the server. After that is the string of code that identifies what information the person is requesting. This is how the server finds the right piece of data to return. This string of code is embedded in the links on websites, so that you can click on a link and give an instruction to the server at the same time. Next, you'll see a number that tells us whether the information was successfully provided to the person. 200 means successfully delivered, while 404 means error. Finally, another number reflects the size of the content file the person received. While every interaction leaves a trace in the publisher and advertiser servers, the servers often also send some information back to the user and store it in their browser as a cookie, which is what we will cover in our next video.